We'll make sure you arrive home securely in a taxi." In the wee hours of January 30, 2016, middle-aged, oddball Edward Tenniswood made those remarks to India Chipchase, a 20-year-old. India was put in a cab by Tenniswood, but he was unable to transport her home. He returned with her to his apartment, where all of his belongings were covered in plastic, and raped and killed her there. Chipchase was a bartender who lived in Northampton, England, and had aspirations of becoming an EMT. She was out dancing and drinking with friends at NB's club when her relatives described her as vibrant. However, her friends noted that she appeared upset about the on and off nature of her relationship with Grant Hare. Chipchase vanished sometime after midnight. Friend Harry Moylan said, "We believed she had either returned home or met up with other acquaintances." After deciding to take a cab home, Chipchase informed club security of her decision. She got angry and launched a wobbly when the driver, Andrew Birkinshaw, requested the fare in advance, according to the driver. She attempted to enter the club again to reunite with her friends, but she was refused entry because she was too inebriated. At around 1 in the morning, Christopher Christen overheard her on the phone in front of NB's club. He remarked, "I believe she was trying to reach someone. She appeared to be weeping." Chipchase was attempting to reach her on-again, off-again boyfriend Hare. Hare missed the texts because his phone's battery was dead. Christen saw an older, balding guy approaching Chipchase while carrying a rucksack and donning a thick jacket. He wrapped an arm around her and promised to securely transport her home in a taxi. Tenniswood was that person. Tenniswood was a bookkeeper who resided alone in a rented apartment. His landlady referred to him as a friendless loner, and his lawyer called him an oddball. Newspapers were scattered across the floors, plastic sheets covered his furnishings, and cling film shielded his computer. Tenniswood argued that continuing to sanitize something to use it seemed absurd. Instead, you simply change the cling film instead of going through the trouble of cleaning. India Chipchase killer saved a terrifying photo of prominent fashion model Heather Stewart-Whyte, who looked eerily similar to his victim India Chipchase. Edward Tenniswood asserted that he was dating former cover girl Heather Stewart-Whyte throughout his rambling defense. Photos of the model from her time on magazine covers and in fashion shoots reveal that she is the exact replica of Ms. Chipchase, the bartender. Tenniswood approached Chipchase outside NB's club and was able to get her into a cab. A few hundred meters away from his apartment, he instructed the cab driver to let them out. At 3 in the morning, Chipchase was dead and sprawled out on Tenniswood's bedroom floor on a mattress. She had both been raped and choked. More than 30 wounds covered her body. Tenniswood had blood under her fingernails, a sign of a battle. In another part of Northampton, Hare returned home and charged his phone. He attempted to call Chipchase back after seeing her missed calls and texts, but all he received was her voicemail. It had just passed 3 a.m. As the day wore on, Chipchase's family started to worry since they couldn't get in touch with her. When she didn't arrive for her 4 o'clock shift at the Collingtree pub, their worries intensified. They notified the police that she was missing. India Eve Chipchase, please let me know you're okay please sweetheart, her mother Suzanne Pointer wrote in a Facebook post. XXXCC, I love you. Tenniswood, in the meantime, had covered Chipchase's body with a plastic sheet and put her clothing back on. The process of clothing a body is terrible, he subsequently remarked. For headspace, he went out for a kebab. The next day, authorities issued a public plea for information regarding Chipchase. When they looked at the CCTV footage from outside the club, they noticed Tenniswood approaching Chipchase. Despite not having a criminal history, one of the cops recognized him. They quickly began smashing down his apartment's door. The body of Chipchase was located. Sweetheart, sweetheart, can you wake up? A police officer pleaded. Are you able to hear me? Another person said, she's gone, she's gone. Oh no, she left. Tenniswood was discovered by police at a nearby hotel, where he had been enjoying a beer and reading up on the Chipchase search. When he saw them, he didn't appear surprised. He responded to them, I assume you've been to the house. You've discovered it, the person said. Chipchase rape and murder were both alleged crimes against Tenniswood. He asserted that they had consensual intercourse and that Chipchase's death was an accident during his trial in July 2016. Tenniswood testified in court that he and the 20-year-old had become close because neither of them had been allowed admission to the club. She voluntarily returned to his apartment, where they had a sweet moment in his bedroom, he claimed. He said, she just so happens to make this extremely emotional remark, just a wonderful India thing to do. According to him, Chipchase placed his hands on her neck and applied pressure, giving the impression that she wanted him to continue pushing. I either held the pressure just a little bit too long or just grasped too strongly, in my attempt to please her, he claimed. The jury rejected his testimony. The unanimous guilty decision was reached in just 1 hour and 45 minutes. The father of Chipchase, Adelaide Dr. Jeremy Chipchase, stated in a victim impact statement, whatever transpired on that night and whatever stories are presented, the truth is our daughter was murdered. The mother of Chipchase claimed that her daughter lit up a room when she went in. She remarked, by this man's acts, we have been sentenced to a life of grief for a kid whose potential we will never realize, a sister we no longer share secrets with. It was a crime of absolute depravity, according to the judge, Mr. Justice Saunders. Tenniswood was given a life sentence with a minimum of 30 years in prison. Her mother has been striving to organize an organization called the Northampton Guardians since India's passing. The Guardians are volunteers that patrol the streets in an effort to safeguard women who are out alone at night. In honor of India, they want to assist women in returning home safely.